All right, let's look at 19 through 24 here. We need to multiply this out. So we see some variables, but that doesn't change the order of operations. Order of operations tells you we need to take care of exponents first. So I've got to take care of this little piece. Remember, when we see that squared is up there, okay? Well, when we square something, the same thing as multiplying by itself. So that's not a distributive property with the 2, right? We need to multiply these binomials out. When you just look at the squared and say x squared plus 1, you're missing a whole another term there. So we got to distribute the x's. X times x is x squared. X times -1 is -x. Okay, and then I need to distribute the -1. This goes to -x plus 1. So we have like terms in the middle. -x minus x is a -2x. So we've got the 4x that was on the end just hanging out still. Now we have all of this junk we need to distribute to. We've got x squared. -x minus x is a -2x. We have a +1. So now we've got to distribute a property again, and I've got to take all of that 4x to each of these 3 terms in the middle, or in the parentheses there. So 4x times x squared is a 4x to the 3rd. So this is a exponent of a 1. Remember, we multiply, we add. So then 4x times a -2x, 4 times -2 is a -8. X times x is x squared. 4 times 1 is a +4x. So let's see what we got here. We have 4x to the 3rd minus 8x squared plus 4x. And it looks like it's going to be B. All right, number 20. We need to simplify. So it looks like, when we have addition and subtraction, you actually have 2 different fractions there. But we can shorthand that and put it all into 1. But when we're simplifying, we've got to break those apart to kind of see it a little bit better. So we have 6x to the 8th over 2x squared. That whole fraction is being subtracted by 2x squared over, again, the same denominator, right? So they went ahead and combined the common denominators and made one giant fraction, but really remember, when we have addition or subtraction in the numerator or the denominator, in the numerator, you do have to separate the 2 fractions. Now I've got 2 little pieces I'm going to look at here. Remember, when we are simplifying, when we're talking about division, exponents, we subtract. So 6 divided by 2, those are still numbers, so take care of your division. So 6 divided by 2 is a 3. Now when I look at my x's, when we divide, we subtract. So this is actually saying 8 minus 2, which is a 6. Okay, don't divide those numbers. Again, they're going to give you a dummy answer that has the answer involved, okay? Just be careful with that. And we are subtracting, but notice what I have in this fraction. I have 2x squared divided by 2x squared. The numerator and denominator is the same number. Well, anytime you divide something by itself, right, 10 divided by 10 is a 1. So we need 3x squared minus 1. Boom. And like I told you, 8 divided by 2 is 4. Look, right? So they know what your mistake is going to be, and they will give you an answer of what a common mistake will be. Okay? 21. What is the area of a triangle whose vertices are -4, -10, -4, 0, -10, 0, -7, -6? Again, I'm a visual person. If you can kind of see where that's going to be on the axis, more power to you. I cannot see that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an axis. I have something at -4, 0. I have something at -10, 0. And then I have something at -7. So it's going to be, well, yeah, that's going to be in the middle. And -6. Whatever. It's just a rough sketch. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. So this is going to be my triangle. And we know we are asked to find the area. So we need half of the base times the height. So base times height divided by 2, same thing. The base here, it looks like it went from -4 to -10. That's a distance of 6. Times the height, Since that is dead in the middle, that pretty much gives you the height there. The height is also a 6, right? Remember, this is a distance or a length. You can't have a negative length, even though we went down 6. It's still a distance of 6, right? 6 times 6 is 36. 36 over 2 should give us the 18. Okay, I'm a visual person. If you could see that graph without, drawing it, go for it. But I think I would probably sketch that out. 22. We're asked to solve this equation for x. Notice how I gave you a y. You're going to end up with a y in your problem. So just kind of treat it as a number there. Just kind of tag along. So again, I'm solving for x, so I'm going to leave x alone. I want to move everything away from it. I have a negative 8y. So I'm going to subtract that away. So I've got 9x is now equal to 36 minus 8y. This is stuck by multiplication, so I'm going to go ahead and divide. Remember, when we divide or multiply, every little piece in your equation has to get multiplied or divided through. So 9 over 9 leaves us with just x, which is exactly what we want. 36 over 9 is 4. Negative 8y over 9, so it's just going to leave it as negative 8y over 9. So we got to look for a positive 4 and then negative 8 over 9. And it looks like it's going to be D. Look how similar D and C's answers are. This is negative 8 over 9. That's a negative 9 over 8. So really pay attention to what number is going to be on the denominator there. Regardless, the answer is D there. Which fraction is the largest? Remember, I think the easiest way to see this is go ahead and convert everything to a decimal. Unless you see a fraction that you know, like A is 1/2. So that's 0.5, right, or 50. If I look at the remaining answers, if I double 13, it's going to be a 26. So we're not there. That's going to be less than half. Same thing with this, 7 and a 15. That's going to be less than half because doubling 7 is 14. So the real question is, doubling 8 is going to give us more than 15. So we need something bigger than 50. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put those remaining answers in my calculator and see which one's bigger. So 8 over 15 gives me 53. So, right, 8 and 16 is a little bit bigger than halfway there. 17 over 30, I think this one's going to be a little bit bigger, yeah. So 56 is definitely bigger than 53. So again, biggest part to remember, I think it's easier to see smallest to largest looking at a decimal as opposed to a fraction. And you have a calculator, so it should be pretty easy to kind of roll through. And lastly, we need to solve this inequality. Biggest thing to remember, we solve inequalities just like we do an equation. The only difference is, remember, multiplying or dividing by a negative, we have to flip our sign. All right, here we go. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to get my x's to one side. I have a 2x here and 8x here. I'm going to take the 2 to the 8 so my x stays positive. So I'm just left with 4 on the left-hand side. Notice the mouth is aimed that way. If I took the 2x from the 8x, I'm left with 6x. Now I got to move my 8 over this way. 8 plus 4 is 12. Pay attention to the mouth, right? Now I'm going to divide both sides by the 6. So 12 over 6 is 2 is x. Typically we write this with the x on the left. That's how all my answers are. My answer here is on the right. Okay, so if I flip this over, notice where the nose is. The nose is pointing towards the x. So when I flip this over, the nose still has to point towards the x. And we can see, look how similar these guys are. Really pay attention to your sign. Again, they know what your mistake's going to be. Just don't do all the hard work to get down to the answer just to pick one that looks too close to it, okay? Really pay attention to what you're answering.